Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin was. Salatu was. Salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin. Alalihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Amabad, my dear brothers and sisters, as Salamu letter 2. BFALAYKUM wa R letter 1. E2. 5 MATULL a macron HI wa barakata. As we sit here, we have to realize the precious time we are living in. The air of Ramadan is filled with mercy, the nights are filled with Noor, and in these nights there are jewels. There are treasures that Allah Azza wa Jal is literally throwing at us. The question is, are our hands open to catch them? Or are we too busy, too distracted with our phones, with our shows, with our sleep? Tonight, I want to talk to you about 3 powerful keys. 3 du'as that should never leave your lips, every single night of this blessed month. These are not just rituals, they are a survival kit for your soul. My dear brothers and sisters, let us sit with this first reality for a moment, because if we can grasp this, we have grasped the entire purpose of Ramadan. The first du'a we must talk about, the one that should never ever leave your tongue in these remaining nights, is the one that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam personally taught. And who did he teach it to? He taught it to his beloved wife, Aisha, radi Allahu anha. Think about the beauty of that moment. The best of creation, teaching the best of women, the mother of the believers, what to say on the best night of the year. And what did he teach her? He didn't teach her a long, complicated chapter. He didn't burden her with something heavy. He taught her a phrase that is short in words but immense in weight. He taught her to say, Allahumma innaka afawan tuhubul afwa fafu ani. O Allah, indeed you are the pardoning. You love to pardon, so pardon me. Look at those words closely. Subhanallah. When you analyze this dua, you realize that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam wasn't just giving us words to say. He was giving us a formula. He was teaching us how to approach our Creator when we are at our most desperate, when we are standing before Him in the middle of the night, seeking His mercy. Now, why is this dua so crucial? Why must we recite it every single night of Ramadan, especially the last 10? Because, my dear brothers and sisters, we are all sinners. Let us not fool ourselves. We walk through this life and we accumulate mistakes. Some of them are small, we call them slips. Some of them are heavy, we call them burdens. But all of them, every single one, leaves a stain on the heart. Over time, the heart becomes rusty. We feel distant from Allah. We feel that connection weakening. We try to pray, but our minds wander. We try to read Quran, but the words feel heavy on our tongues. This is the result of sin. This is the rust that builds up. And who can remove that rust? Only Allah Foa, the one who doesn't just forgive, but who erases. He wipes the slate completely clean. You see, there is a difference between forgiveness and pardon. In the English language, we use them the same, but in the understanding of Allah's names, it is deep. When Allah forgives, He covers the sin, He hides it. It is not exposed on the day of judgment, but when He pardons, He erases it entirely from the record. It's as if it never happened. Can you imagine? You come on the day of judgment, and you are worried about that major sin you committed 10 years ago, the one that keeps you up at night. And Allah says, what sin? I don't see it. I have pardoned you. That is al-Foa. That is what we are asking for. And look at the beautiful way the Prophet taught us to ask. He said, remind Allah that He loves to pardon. 2. Hibul afwa. He loves it. When you go to a friend and you need a favor, you don't just demand it. You remind them of your friendship. You remind them of the good times. You soften their heart towards you. Now, Allah al-Wadud, the loving, His love is perfect. He doesn't need us to remind Him, but He teaches us to call upon Him by His names and attributes that suit our request. So, when you want pardon, you call upon the one who is al-Foa, and you acknowledge that He loves this act. He loves to show mercy. He loves to wipe away sins. So when you raise your hands in the depth of the night, in the quiet of your room, or in the corner of the masjid, and you whisper these words, you are tapping into the greatest treasure of Ramadan. You are standing at the door of a king who is waiting for his servants to ask, just so he can give. Allah says in the Hadith Qudsi, O son of Adam, if you were to come to me with sins nearly as great as the earth, and you were to meet me without associating anything with me, I would bring you forgiveness nearly as great as it. That is the vastness of His mercy, but it requires you to ask. It requires you to raise your hands and say, Ya Allah, I am a mess, I have wronged myself, I have stayed up late watching things I shouldn't have, I have spoken about people behind their backs, I have neglected my prayers, I have hurt my parents with my words, but Ya Allah, tonight, in this blessed month, on this blessed night, I am asking you by your name Al-Afoa, by your attribute that you love to pardon me, wipe it all away. This du'a is a confession, it is an admission of our weakness. And when a servant admits his weakness to his Lord, the Lord is pleased. The Prophet told us that Allah is more pleased with the repentance of his servant than a man who loses his camel in the desert, with all his food and water tied to it, and he gives up hope and lies down to die, and then the camel comes back and stands right in front of him, and he grabs its reins and cries out of joy, O Allah, you are my servant, and I am your Lord. He makes that mistake out of extreme joy. That is the joy Allah feels when we turn back to Him. He loves it when we say, I am sorry, I need you, pardon me. So in these nights, do not just breeze through this du'a. Stop and feel it. Let the words penetrate your heart. Imagine yourself on the day of judgment, standing in that great plain, the sun brought close, the sweat pouring down, and you are looking for a way out, you are looking for someone to intercede for you, but if Allah has pardoned you, you won't need anyone. He will pull you out by His mercy and say, I pardoned you in Ramadan when you asked, enter my Jannah. That is the goal. That is the prize, so recite it once, recite it 100 times, recite it 1,000 times. Let your tongue be moist with it. Allahumma innaka afawan tuhibul afwa fa'fu anni. Make it your cry for the rest of these nights, and watch how Allah transforms your state. My dear brothers and sisters, we have spoken about the first key, the key of asking for pardon, for wiping the slate clean, but now we come to the second du'a, and this one is just as essential. In fact, it is the du'a of survival. It is the shield we hold up against the greatest horror that any human being can possibly imagine. We are talking about the fire of Jahannam. Allah Azza wa Jal describes it in the Quran as a fire whose fuel is men and stones. He describes it as a fire that crackles and rages, that burns away the skin and then replaces it so it can be burned again. It is a place of darkness, of chains, of boiling water that cuts the intestines, and the intelligent believer, the one with true faith, does not just hope for paradise. He also fears the fire, he runs from it, and because he cannot see it in this dunya, he begs the one who controls it to protect him from it. This is why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to make this simple but powerful supplication constantly. He used to say, Allahumma ajini min an-nar, O Allah, save me from the fire. He would say it in his morning and evening adhkar. He would say it in his prayers. He would teach it to his companions. And if the Prophet himself, who was guaranteed Jannah, used to beg Allah to save him from the fire, then who are we? Who am I? Who are you? We are sinners. We are negligent. We fall short every single day. How can we afford to be complacent? How can we go through the nights of Ramadan without once crying out to Allah to save us from the flames? Look at the beauty of the word ajini. It comes from the root word meaning to protect, to shelter, to grant refuge. It is like when a guest runs to his host for safety from an enemy. He says, protect me, hide me, I am in your house under your care. That is the relationship we have with Allah. We are running to Him, seeking refuge in His mercy from His punishment. It is a recognition that we cannot save ourselves. Our good deeds, as many as they are never enough to guarantee our safety. We enter Jannah only by the mercy of Allah, and we are saved from the fire only by His protection. There is another version of this dua that the Prophet taught us, which is more comprehensive. He used to say, Allahumma in nai esaluka ridaka wal jannah wa'ud, hubika min sakaitika wan nar. O Allah, I ask you for your pleasure and for paradise, and I seek refuge in you from your wrath and from the fire. Do you see the connection? The Prophet paired Jannah with the pleasure of Allah, because Jannah is not just about the rivers and the palaces and the hur. The ultimate joy of Jannah is looking upon the face of Allah and hearing Him say, I am pleased with you. That is the greatest reward. And he paired the fire with the wrath of Allah, because the worst part of the fire is not just the physical pain, it is the feeling of being far from Allah, of being under His anger. When Allah is angry with a servant, that is the true punishment. So this dua is asking for both the ultimate gain and protection from the ultimate loss. And where should we make this dua? When should we cry out these words? The best time, of course, is in these last 10 nights of Ramadan. Why? Because these are the nights of freedom. These are the nights when Allah looks at His creation and says, Is there anyone seeking forgiveness that I may forgive him? Is there anyone asking that I may give him? Is there anyone seeking refuge from the fire that I may grant him refuge? The Prophet told us that every single night of Ramadan, Allah frees people from the hellfire. And in the last 10 nights, the freeing increases. It multiplies. On the night of Laylatul Qadr, it is said that the numbers are beyond our imagination. Shaitans are chained, the doors of mercy are wide open, and the angels are descending with every decree of peace. Imagine, just imagine, that on one of these nights your name comes up. An angel descends and says, Ya Rab, this servant of yours, he stood in prayer, he recited the Quran, he fed the poor, and tonight he raised his hands and he cried out, Allahumma ajini min nar, O Allah, save me from the fire. And Allah, Ar-Rahman, looks at that angel and says, Look at my servant, he is asking me to save him. I am so shy to turn him away. Tell him you are saved, you are free. Subhan Allah. Can you imagine the joy on that person's face when he leaves this world and the angels give him glad tidings of paradise? Can you imagine the relief when he stands on the day of judgment and the heat of that day does not touch him because he is under the shade of Allah's throne? But if we are silent, if we spend these nights sleeping or scrolling through our phones or chatting about useless things, and we never once ask Allah to save us from the fire, then whose fault is it? We cannot blame Allah. Allah is the most merciful. He wants to save us. He wants to fill the heavens with our freed slaves. But He wants us to ask. He wants us to show Him that we care. He wants us to acknowledge our fear of Him. So make this dua your shield. When you wake up for suhoor, whisper it. When you break your fast, before you even take the first sip of water, say it. In your sujud, when you are closest to Allah, let your tears fall and say, Ya Allah, save me. Save me from the fire. Save my parents from the fire. Save my children from the fire. Save my spouse from the fire. Save the entire ummah from the fire. Do not limit it to yourself. Be generous in your dua. Ask for everyone you love. Ask for the believers all over the world. We see on the news our brothers and sisters in so many places suffering under oppression, under bombs, under occupation. Their worldly life is a fire. We ask Allah to save them from that fire in this world and from the greater fire of the hereafter. We ask Him to grant them martyrdom and to enter them into Jannah without reckoning. But we must ask. We must raise our hands, because the dua of a believer is never wasted. Even if it seems delayed, even if it seems unanswered in the way we want, it is either stored for us in the hereafter, or it is used to divert a calamity away from us. So never stop asking, never stop begging. Make Allahumma ajini min and nar the rhythm of your nights. Let it echo in your heart as you drift off to sleep. Let it be the last thing on your lips. Because if you die on a night when you were seeking refuge from the fire, Who knows? Perhaps the angels will take your soul and say, "This is one whom Allah has saved. May Allah make us from them. May He save us from the punishment of the grave and the flames of Jahannam. Ameen, Ya Rab." My dear brothers and sisters, we have spoken about asking for pardon for ourselves. We have spoken about asking for protection from the fire. But now we come to the third du'a, and this one is perhaps the most beautiful because it takes us outside of ourselves. It breaks the shell of our ego and connects us to the hearts of others. The third du'a that you must recite every single night in these last days of Ramadan is the du'a for your loved ones, for those who are dear to you, for those who have sacrificed for you, and for the entire Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is the du'a of selflessness. This is the du'a that proves your faith is real. The Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam told us something amazing. He said, "The du'a of a Muslim for his brother in his absence is readily answered." He said that at his head there is an angel appointed, and every time he makes a good du'a for his brother, that angel says, "Ameen," and for you the same. Subhanallah. Think about this mechanism. Allah has set up a system where if you want something for yourself, you ask directly. But if you want something for someone else, Allah not only gives it to them, but He gives the same to you. It is a system of multiplication. It is a system of love. It shows us that Allah wants us to care about each other. He wants us to be one body. When one part of the body feels pain, the rest of the body feels it. That is the believer. So in these nights, do not be selfish in your worship. Do not just think about your own sins and your own jannah. Expand your heart. Make a list. Take out your phone, take out a piece of paper, and write down the names of the people you love. Write down your mother, your father, whether they are alive or they have passed on. Write down your husband, your wife. Write down your children, every single one of them by name. Write down your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your aunts, your neighbors, your teachers, your friends. And then, in the depth of the night, when the world is sleeping and Allah is asking, "Who is asking that I may give him?" Go through that list one by one. Start with your parents. This is so important. Your parents are the reason you are here today. Your mother carried you for 9 months, month after month, getting heavier, getting more tired. She gave birth to you in pain. She nursed you. She stayed up nights when you were sick. She wiped your tears. She fed you before she fed herself. Your father worked, sometimes in jobs he hated, to put food on the table. He came home tired, but he still played with you. He still provided. They sacrificed their youth for you. And now maybe they are old, maybe they are weak, maybe they need your help, and you might be busy with your own life, your own children, your own job. But in these nights, you have a chance to repay them, not with money, not with gifts, but with du'a. The Prophet said, "The righteous child is the one who makes du'a for his parents." If your parents are still alive, raise your hands and say, "Rabbi Irhamhuma Kamar Rabbayani Seghira." My Lord, have mercy on them as they raised me when I was small. Ask Allah to grant them health. Ask Him to grant them a long life in obedience to Him. Ask Him to soften their hearts towards Islam. Ask Him to grant them a good ending, a Hasan al-Khotima. Ask Him to admit them into the highest Jannah. And if they have passed away, if they have left this dunya, do not forget them. They are now in the barzakh, in the intermediate realm. They are waiting, they are hoping. They cannot pray anymore. They cannot fast anymore. They cannot give charity anymore. Their deeds have stopped except for 3 things, and one of them is the du'a of a righteous child. When you say, "Allah magfir lahu warham," who, "O Allah, forgive him and have mercy on him," that prayer travels like a gift wrapped in light, and it reaches them in their graves. They feel it, they rejoice. It is like someone sending you a gift when you are lonely and sad. Imagine the joy it brings them. So every single night, do not let a night pass without making du'a for your deceased parents, your deceased grandparents, your deceased relatives. Then turn to your children, make du'a for them. Ask Allah to make them the coolness of your eyes. Ask Allah to protect them from the trials of this world, from bad company, from the temptations of the internet, from the fitna of the youth. Ask Allah to make them leaders of the pious, to make them from the people of Quran, to make them from those who will intercede for you on the day of judgment. Raise your hands for your spouse. Ask Allah to put love and mercy between you. Ask Allah to make your spouse a source of peace for you, and to make you a source of peace for them. Ask Allah to unite you in Jannah, not just in this dunya. And then, my dear brothers and sisters, expand your circle even further. Look beyond your home. Look at the Ummah. We are living in difficult times. Our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Syria, in Yemen, in Kashmir, in Myanmar, in so many places around the world, they are suffering. They are being killed. They are being bombed. They are being starved. Their children are being orphaned. Their homes are being destroyed. They are living in tents. They are cold. They are hungry. They are scared. They are calling out to Allah day and night. And we, here, sitting in our comfortable homes, with food in our fridges and roofs over our heads, we have a duty. We have a responsibility. We cannot send them food easily. We cannot send them weapons. We cannot stop the bombs. But we can send them something that reaches them immediately, something that no border can stop, something that no army can block. We can send them our du'as. In the last 10 nights, on the nights of Laylatul Qadr, when du'as are answered, lift your hands for the oppressed. Say, Allahumma farij anhum, Allahumma kun lahum. O Allah, relieve them. O Allah, be with them. Say, Allahumma anzil sakinatika alayhim, Allahumma thabit aqdamahum, Allahumma igfir li shuhadayhim. O Allah, send down your tranquility upon them. O Allah, make their feet firm. O Allah, forgive their martyrs. Ask Allah to destroy their oppressors. Ask Allah to bring victory to the weak and the helpless. When you make this du'a, you are not just helping them. You are helping yourself. You are connecting your heart to the heart of the Ummah. You are fulfilling the command of Allah to care for the believers. So tonight, before you sleep, sit in the quiet, make your list, start with your parents, then your family, then your neighbors, then the Ummah, and cry to Allah for them. Let your tears flow for their pain, and know that every tear you shed for your brother or sister, every whisper you make for them in the darkness, is witnessed by Allah, and He will not let it go to waste. He will reward you, He will answer you, and He will give you the same as you asked for them. This is the beauty of Islam. This is the beauty of du'a. Do not miss out. My dear brothers and sisters, we have spoken about the 3 du'as. We have spoken about asking for pardon, about seeking protection from the fire, and about lifting our hands for our loved ones in the Ummah. But now we must address something critical. We must address the container, the vessel, the precious time in which these du'as are supposed to be made. Because you can have the most powerful medicine in the world, but if you take it after the illness has killed you, it is useless. You can have the most important letter to deliver, but if you arrive after the recipient has left, it is wasted. And so it is with these du'as. They are most powerful, most potent, most likely to be accepted in these remaining nights. This is the urgency of the last 10 nights. This is the 4th point we must engrave on our hearts. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu who alayhi wasallam, when Ramadan came, he would increase his worship. He would tighten his waist wrapper. He would stay up at night and wake his family, and in the last 10 nights he would exert himself with even more effort than he did in the first 20. Aisha radiyallahu anha tells us that when the last 10 nights entered, the Prophet would spend the night in worship. He would wake his family, and he would tighten his waist wrapper, meaning he would completely dedicate himself to Allah, distancing himself from his wives and from worldly comforts to focus entirely on his Creator. This was the example of the best of creation, and if he exerted himself so much, who are we to be lazy? Who are we to sleep through these nights? Who are we to treat the last 10 nights like any other nights of the year? Think about the mathematics of Ramadan. Allah gives us 30 days, sometimes 20, 9. But within these 30 days there is a night that is hidden, like a treasure buried in a vast field. And that night, Lailatul Qadr, is better than 1,000 months. Do the calculation. 1,000 months is more than 83 years. 83 years of worship, 83 years of prayer, 83 years of Quran, 83 years of charity. All of that good deed, all of that reward can be earned in a single night. One night, subhan Allah. Can you imagine if someone told you there is a business deal where you invest one night and you get the profits of 83 years? Would you sleep through that night? Would you scroll through your phone? Would you chat with your friends? Would you lie on your comfortable mattress and snore while the angels are descending? Of course not. You would run to that opportunity. You would stay awake. You would fight sleep. You would drink coffee. You would splash water on your face. You would do whatever it takes to seize that moment. So why, my dear brothers and sisters, are we so relaxed? Why are we so comfortable? Why are we not trembling with excitement and fear at the same time? The reality is, time is running out. The moon is waning. The first 10 days of mercy have passed. The next 10 days of forgiveness are passing. And now we are in the last 10 days, the days of freedom from the fire. Every night that passes is a night we will never get back. Last night is gone, its record is sealed. If we worshipped well, we have earned our reward. If we wasted it, we have lost it forever. Tonight is here. It is a gift. It is an opportunity, but it is slipping through our fingers like sand. And tomorrow night the same. Until suddenly we hear the takbir of Eid, and Ramadan is just a memory. And we will either be those who come out of it like the day our mother gave birth to us, pure and clean, or we will be those who come out of it with the same sins we went